Let's talk about interfacing. I'll be following your notes. Interfacing is a layer of fabric which is used to give body, shape retention, support, and smoothness to certain parts of the garment. The purpose is to support, shape, and stabilize areas, edges, and details of the garment. It reinforces and prevents stretching of the fabric, and it can increase the life of the garment. Where is it used? On collars, cuffs, waistbands, plackets, flaps, along the front edge, the hem, the neck, the yoke, the armholes, the lapels, vents, and pockets. There are two kinds of interfacing, fusible and non-fusible or sew-in. Fusible is put onto your garment with an iron. It is the steam, the heat, and the pressure that fuses it. Sew-in is basted in with your sewing machine. It can be woven or non-woven. Woven is like fabric, non-woven is more like felt. And it can be light, medium, or heavyweight, and you want to match the weight of the interfacing to the weight of the garment. It supports and gives body without being overpowering. When you're applying interfacing, one of the signs that I always put up in class is to please cover the ironing board with paper towel or a press cloth to protect the ironing board cover, and cover the interfacing with paper towel or a press cloth to protect the iron. Fusible iron especially can leave little pieces that will stick to your iron or more fabric. So I'm going to use a paper towel on my ironing mat, and I have a damp cloth. Interfacing, when you buy, and I'm going to use fusible today, comes on a bolt and comes with directions wrapped around it that tell you exactly how to use it, or you might buy it in a package. There's 3 yards in here. It's the same thing, it's just a different way of packaging. What you want to do is make sure that you follow the layout for your interfacing on your guide sheet. And with fusible interfacing, there is a grain, so you want to follow the grain line. And this is my interfacing. There's just 2 pieces, the facing and the vent pocket. So I had cut out my vent pocket, and I take the pattern off my fabric and use it to cut out my 2 pieces of interfacing. Now, the first thing you want to do is trim about 1/8 of an inch off. So you want to carefully just take your scissors and trim. And this has some corners that you don't want to lose. So I'm going to trim both of these. And this basically is grading so that the seam allowances are not too thick. This one. And the corner. And you want to make sure you get all these little pieces off your ironing board so they don't stick to anything else. And I want to fuse my interfacing to the wrong side of my pieces. So I'll pull this down so you can see this a little bit better. There's one piece and there's the other piece. I will take my interfacing and place it with the fusible side down. That's the rough side or the shiny side that has the fusing material on it. And put it down like that. And the directions that come with it usually tell you to use a damp cloth and put the iron on it for about 10 seconds. So we're going to take our steam iron, which is set to wool with steam, and leave it down. You don't want to glide it while you're fusing these on. Pick it up, move it over. I may not be doing exactly 10 seconds as I'm showing you, but it's a good idea to do it for 10 seconds. And then move it. And then take a look at it and see if it's all fused on. And it seems to be fused. And then they tell you to turn it over and make sure that there's no interfacing. and give the right side of the garment a press. And that's all there is to putting on your interfacing, and now that's ready to construct. When you have a larger piece, like the facing, I cut out my pieces and I trimmed them before, because what you want to do now is move it piece by piece, and you don't want to glide it because sometimes the fusible can slide a little bit. So you do 10 seconds. Pick it up, move it over. Pick it up and move it over. So this time you're really pressing. Pick it up and move it over. And then what I'll do is move this down so I can do the rest of the piece. And the paper towel protects your ironing surface, your ironing board cover or your ironing mat. And one last little section to do. About 10 seconds. And then turn it over and give it a quick press. And that looks like a little piece of interfacing. Give it a quick press on this side. You don't want to over press it because sometimes then it puckers and wrinkles. You want to let the fabric cool and make sure you have no puckers or wrinkles. And you let it cool because if at this point you folded it like that and hung it up, it would curve like that and you would just press that out. And that's all there is to ironing on interfacing. If this was a sew-on piece, what you would have done is sew this down along the edges with a basting stitch. Similar idea. And that's all there is to using your interfacing.